Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for coming to our bed talks. I'm really excited. This has been a topic in demand, so I'm finally really excited to have Jenn Bulman here talking to you guys about exit strategy and what you need to do to prepare for a strong exit. And it might be a little bit more um, uh, long thought out than you expected. So hopefully nobody is trying to exit tomorrow,
Exit
but
tomorrow. Yeah.
but she's got incredible information for you. She's been doing this for almost 2 decades on her own. And I love seeing Jen at trade shows because she's just a very easy, comfortable personality to access information from. Everyone loves talking to her. Her booth is always busy, and I'm really excited to have her here with us. So thank you so much, Jen. I'm really excited to have you here with us.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm Jenn Bulman. I work right now with Best Friends Pet Care, helping them just in business outreach. I grew my own pet resort I was actually working on my third location when I went through the exit. Um, and I had that business for about 14 years. So I understand the growing pains and really putting in those systems so that you can build yourself a sellable asset. Um, some of the things that I wanted to focus on was as you're thinking of exiting and just planning ahead, really focus on building that business around, your training, your policies and procedures versus around the owner. I think a lot of owners get caught up in the day to day, really interacting with those clients, and those clients now depend on you to be there. And what you don't want is owner dependent business. You want to be able to build something that you can then pass off to whoever's purchasing your company and be able to run it in the way that you've built it. Um, and some of the things you can do to do that are building out your SOPs, your staff training, really pouring into them. Teaching them the way that you want them to run the business. Uh, One of the other things that we see a lot is, being open to following trends, not getting stuck in your ways, um, diversifying revenue streams so that you can, there's a lot of new things coming to market that are really exciting to keep kind of pet parents in pulse with their pets while they're at your pet resort. And things like the FI collar and more report cards and things like that. So I think it's really important to stay informed and to keep that open. Oh, 1 second. Something's going on with my internet. Can you hear me?
Yep, we can hear you.
Sorry. Are you there?
Yeah, we're here. And while Jen's kind of sorting that out, if anybody has questions that you'd like to post in the chat, then I'll make sure that she sees them and we can answer them directly.
I don't can't hear you.
Oh no.
Oh, there you are. Okay. Is it working now?
Yeah, we're good.
Okay. So sorry. I have horrible internet service here and sometimes it cuts out. Okay. Okay, let's talk about labor and getting those percentages in line. I don't know if anybody's heard of the labor lens. I think that's a great new product that's come to the industry. Really keeping your labor margins within that 35 to 40% is ideal. It's very hard to do a lot of times when you have overnight staff and things like that. But I think keeping a pulse on that and keeping it within those numbers is really important, especially if you're looking to sell your business. So planning for that and keeping that within those margins
Is
is
that
really.
laborlens.ai? Is that what
It's
the
Sean
tool you just
Felt's
mentioned?
program, and I am trying to remember what the website actually is. I can look it up really quick.
Yeah, let's post that in the chat for anybody who's looking for it.
Uh, that is one of the things that we see out of whack most frequently is the labor. The labor is usually very heavy, and it brings down your overall evaluation, and you really don't want Next Tree Strategies, I think, is his nexttreestrategies.com, and he is the one that has the labor lens.
Gotcha. Okay.
And that's just a really good product to use if you're needing help keeping it within those margins. So, to recap, yeah, so owner dependence, we want to stay away from building the business around yourself and putting in policies, procedures so that it's ran like you want it to run without you being there. And that's really key if you're going to be opening up, two and three locations to be able to have that run seamlessly throughout so that it protects your brand. Um, let's see here. Are there any questions so far? Let's see, build around systems.
So the things that you just mentioned, you want to make sure that your labor is distributed beyond the owner or manager, right?
Yes, you
So
have a 35 to 40% labor margin that you want to stay within.
okay. And for somebody who has never really documented that or analyzed it, put it into metrics, how do they even start? Like, is it hours? Is it payroll? Is it like,
Payroll. It's your
okay.
payroll. So having a professional bookkeeper that can kind of keep you informed, if you will.
Mhm.
A lot of people don't stay closely informed with their books until the end of the year when they're working on taxes. So it's really important to stay informed with your books so that you can see, okay, we're stepping outside of that margin I need to be in. Labor Lens really helps take that into a per payroll
Mhm.
situation. So you're really informed at where you are every single week. Um,
And does
yeah,
the owner salary go towards that
no,
percentage?
not unless the owner is working a position that will need to be filled.
Okay.
So if you're taking a salary and you are not working the day to day, then it is not something that it should be considered in that 35 to 40%.
Okay.
Facility design, if you guys are also lucky to design your own facility, I think just planning it out for the employees is so important. We went from adapting our first facility with this crazy floor plan. It was very difficult for our front desk to get to our playrooms and our labor, we really fought with our labor for a long time. And then when we opened up our second location, we were able to design it from the ground up. And we considered, where our front desk most commonly is having to go in and out of. And those were the areas where we designed our building. And so our labor expense for that building was 15% less than our first building just because of layout. Um, it is very, I don't, when I first started my business, I didn't even think about that
Mhm.
at all. And then building into the second one and third, and when I was designing the third, it was super important to make sure that it was easy for our staff to do all of their tasks in a very efficient manner.
Mhm.
Instead of our kitchen being far removed from our boarding rooms, our kitchen was centralized. So even just feeding dogs was very easy for that employee. Um, yeah, so that was one of the big learning curves when we were opening multiple facilities is planning your layout, staying on top of trends. We talked about that, prioritizing your systems.
So on
Um,
top of trends, that's things like enrichment, like we were talking about, um, the different add-ons that customers are excited to pay for, things like that.
Yes, creating packages with those additional trends, I think will help upsell your clients. I didn't realize when I first started, I had one thing. It included daycare. It included everything was all inclusive model, and I didn't have other packages for clients that came in that wanted to spend more and
Hmm.
get more of that personal touch. And I missed out on a lot of revenue.
Hmm.
Um, that clients were willing and ready to pay for just because I wasn't offering it. So having those additional packages that, take part in these new trends with the puzzles and those are enrichment activities, Having enrichment add-ons on your daycare. There are so many people that were ready to pay for that extra service, the fun trends when they did the puppuccino, like things like that,
Hmm.
um, that I wasn't offering and I was missing out on. So those are really fun to start taking on and doing those fun little additional things that the clients are ready to pay for.
Yeah, and those are such low-hanging fruit for increased profit because you're selling services to customers you already have.
Right.
So, there's no cost of acquisition there. It's just,
Just
you
there and they're
know,
ready and they
do
love
you want
it.
your dog to have a pup cup after lunch? Little things like that. Yeah.
Yes.
Hmm. And those
Yeah,
are all assets that you can include in your portfolio when you are ready to sell, when you're wanting to offer what you have to somebody else.
right, right. Getting all of that in place. Um, as far as diversifying revenue streams, being able to offer grooming, I know a lot of pet resort people are afraid to offer grooming and dealing with groomers. I kind of took the approach of really, I don't know, building my groomers in as if it was their own business, being able to pay them very well. Grooming itself wasn't a huge profit center for me, but the bathing and everything around it was.
Mhm.
But because I paid my groomers that way, I was able to keep my groomers for, I've had groomers there 10, 15 years because I treated them as if it was their own business. Like they didn't want to leave and go start something else. I was able to provide for them in a very similar fashion so that they stayed.
Mhm.
Because that is challenging. The grooming room in general is very challenging to manage. And we're very proud of, where we were able to take that because, like I said, we had groomers there 10 to 15 years that, are still there today, actually.
Yeah.
Post acquisition, they're still there. Um, there's a question. I paid my groomers commission. I did provide equipment supplies, and sharpening and all of that. Um, and I paid that, I think it does vary on where you're located. In California, we paid 65% commission. We did not profit off our grooms. However, our groomers only did grooms. They did not do baths. So all those in between baths, maintenance baths, whatever it is, dog leaving, exit baths, that was all done by our hourly bathers. The groomers only did the haircuts. It was a convenience for our customers to keep our customers in our doors, but it was not a profit center for us. Everything around it was. All of the upsells that we could do on the grooming, that was part of uh our profits. So, yes, I think grooming is could be a very challenging revenue center, but I think it's very important to have. You have all these clients that are getting groomed. To keep that happening in your doors, I think is really important. Um, let's see. Are there any other questions?
Not right now.
Okay. What are some other things that we should talk about for?
So, if somebody has retirement or exit for any reason on the horizon, and you're saying, so like, if they want to, let's say they want to be out in 3 to 5 years, what are some of the check boxes they need to make sure they have done really well before they can entertain offers or,
To get the most out of their business. Yeah,
yeah.
definitely. I think it's a 3-year runway to plan for the highest.
Hmm.
And that is getting away from working the job. Don't
Hmm.
don't be doing, front desk.
Yeah. Yeah.
Don't take over someone's job. Being able to have the SOPs built and also trained into your employees without you having to be there. Your manager needs to be well versed in those so that they can train everybody else that gets hired. Um, you really should not be involved in the day-to-day operations of that business. Um, 3 years leading up to your exit. Your main focus should be managing your books or finances in such a way that represents the 20 to 30 EBITDA, the 35 to 40% labor margin, making sure your rent expense should be between no more than 10 to 15% of your overall um, revenue. So really watching those numbers and keeping them in line and dialing, back, like, do I add another additional service? Do I, increase my rates here to be able to get those numbers to be where they need to be following up the 3 years before you go to market? Is
Do you have a website or a landing page or some file that has all of these kind of check
I
boxes
don't,
or
but if you want to reach out to me, I do help owners kind of plan for that, walk alongside, share some of my experience and as I spent about a year going through who I wanted to sell to, what I wanted it to look like, what number I was looking for, what I wanted for my employees. And previous to that, I had evaluations done, so I knew where I was at and I had some goals to meet before I actually went through
Mhm.
an acquisition. So, no, you can definitely reach out to me. I think you are sending my contact information and
Yes, I did post that in the chat and it will also be on the recording, the landing page that I'll make for the recording.
yeah, I love helping owners build these assets so that, you pour so much into these businesses over years and years and years. And I think, coming to that place where you're ready to exit, you want to be able to get the most that you can for this thing that you've built that's taken your entire,
Mhm.
life and time and everything over. For me, it was 14 years of
Yeah.
that. So it was very important to me to be able to get the most I could, and also for it to take care of my employees the way I wanted, that person, whoever purchased it, to be able to take care of my employees that same way. Um, yeah, it's been a great experience. I've learned a lot along the process, and I'm happy to share that with any of the other owners that are thinking down the line, like, I want to build this so that I can sell it,
Mhm.
um, and get the
So
most for it.
if somebody is, has all their ducks in a row and is ready to sell, what are some of the options or some of the things you would suggest? Because there's always, trying to sell your business locally, or, you hope somebody in the area purchases it. What are some of the other options?
They just aren't. The local buyers, unfortunately, are just not going to be able to compete with the bigger buyers that are in this space right now. I obviously work with Best Friends Pet Care, and I, you know, recommend them first and foremost. But there are other big firms in the market right now looking to roll up these companies. Diggs is one. Um, Pet Hospitality Group, I think, is another.
Mhm.
Um, I think interview them all.
So what does that
I
process even
certainly
look
did.
like? So like you reach out to them and
I started reaching out to them, getting to know kind of how they operate.
Mhm.
Some of the key things that were important to me was, I spent 14 years building this brand and did things the way I liked them to be done.
Mhm.
Second generation of clients. My clients are used to a very certain way of doing things. I did not want to sell to a company that was going to flip my pricing model to a standardized pricing model that was going to change the brand to a standardized brand. I didn't want those things for my clients or my employees. So, as you interview all these companies that are in the marketplace to purchase resorts like ours, you want to kind of see what their methods are and see
Mhm.
if that aligns with something that you're looking to do. For me, Best Friends aligned with, everything that I was looking for, with keeping my employees, the brand intact, the operations intact. To where a lot of my clients didn't even know that I sold the business, six months a year down the line,
Mhm.
because it was so streamlined. Labor costs, sorry, including taxes. Uh, yes, it is including all of that. Um, It is a challenge to do, but if you struggle with meeting those percentages, I would say Sean Felty is your best bet with giving you that system so that you can play with those metrics and get it within line. Um, it is important to be within that margin. If you have overnight staff, though, you can push that 40%. It does drive it up a couple notches. I really struggled because I had overnight care to keep it at that 40%. There were times when it was easy and then times when it was very difficult. Um, and that's when I had to really push into other revenue streams to keep that margin, where I wanted it.
Mhm.
But good questions.
I imagine that's probably the hardest thing to change um, your labor costs. So you restructuring things, and then you never want to have to lay anybody off. Like, yeah, that's a difficult thing to kind of get sorted if you're not hitting those numbers.
It is. Yes, it definitely is. I really struggled with that because I just like felt like, okay, I just need to bring in more money and then I'd spend more time on or money on advertising and things like that, trying to get our
Mhm.
revenue up to fit the box that I wanted to fit with labor. But ultimately, I did have to make some adjustments and shift changes and things like that to stay within the labor costs that I was had set as our goal.
Mhm.
But it is challenging, and yeah, moving hours around or people's schedules was very challenging.
Mhm. How much time does it, and maybe this is different for everyone, but from the time when you are soliciting buyers to when you are finally out of it, is that like years? Is it
No,
months? How long does that take?
also, yeah, it depends on the buyer, or the seller, because for me, I was up and down, back and forth, all around,
Hmm.
freaking out. This was
Yeah.
my baby that I built. And when I finally felt like I had the right people to sell to, it also made me very scared.
Yeah.
So it could have gone a lot quicker. I think I put the brakes on several times just because it was such a big deal. I mean, you've spent so many years building this thing, pouring out your blood, sweat, and tears to get to a certain point. You're finally there, and then
Hmm.
it's very scary to cross the finish line.
Hmm.
So it could take as little as 3 months. I think I was on closer to a year
Hmm.
in doing that. But if you have your ducks in a row and you've planned, it can be a very quick process because you're going to know what you're looking for. You're going to know what you have. Everything's going to be in order. It could be very quick. Um, if you are ready for it. For
Yeah.
me, yes, I was ready, but I was scared and I was all over the map. So it did take me a lot longer. I apologize to the best friends crew all the time because you had to deal with me going up and down and back and forth and,
I'm sure that's probably pretty common.
yes,
I mean,
yeah,
it would be hard to let that go.
yes, it was. It
Yeah.
was. A lot of our employees had been with us forever. And
Yeah.
so that was a very scary thing for me. I wanted them to be taken care of. And, we are almost 2 years post close and they are still there and happy. And it's been a great experience. But yeah, definitely was scary leading up to it.
Yeah. Does Best Friends have a website or a landing page for
Yes. Yeah.
businesses that would like?
Bestfriendspetcare.com.
And they have, I see that's all about their different locations available. Where is,
And you can click on, I believe it's down below, sell your business. And that will take you to that proper page. So if you scroll to the bottom, click sell your business.
in the footer?
Yep. And then you can fill out that interest form.
Oh, I see here. All right, I'm going to put this in the chat for everybody in case you just want to go take a look and see what information they have there. Um, I think that's probably a pretty good starting place for a lot of people. And I think
Yeah,
even
it
just
is.
knowing 3 years, like I think it's good to have a realistic understanding of how long, what you'll have to do to prepare for everything. Yeah.
Yes. Because believe me, there are days where I was like, sell it tomorrow, please take it now. Yeah. I went through a few of those phases early on, and looking back at what those evaluations are compared to what I was able to sell for, I'm very grateful that I stuck it out and started making those changes
Mhm.
because in the end, it was definitely worth it. So, don't give up. I know there's going to be days where you want to sell it tomorrow. um, just working through those hardships and then putting in further policies and procedures so that it doesn't happen again, or you don't face those same hardships so that you make it to that finish line to make it to those goals that you've set for that business because yeah, it is not an easy business, very hard,
Mhm.
and you want to be able to get the most for it, with all the work that you've put in.
Yeah. Were
So
there any other questions that anybody had, or any talking points that you would love to hear Jen expand upon? Um, hmm. Jen, did you have anything else that you wanted to cover?
no, I think I hit it all. It was just we could recap just building your business apart from yourself. Don't be an owner dependent business. Diversifying your revenue streams, being open to trends, designing your facility to being, the most labor efficient, prioritizing systems and providing consistent training to those employees.
Documenting
Keeping
those systems.
Yes, and get a professional bookkeeper, or unless you're a professional bookkeeper, just so you have an accurate representation of where you're at and making the turning those dials to get to where you want to be is important. Yeah, we talked about the labor lens to keep those labor numbers. Again, that's the one thing that we usually see so out of whack and can definitely be in the range that you need it to be so that you can get those for um, did I use someone to help with my evaluation? I used several different people. I went through a couple different valuations from different companies, way back when NBA was a thing. Taya had done one for us,
For those who don't know, Taya,
with Pet
um,
Vet.
yeah, Pet
Yes,
Vet. She speaks at lots of different conferences. She's outstanding. I know many, many people who have used her, and she'll tell you how it is. She's she's not going to sugarcoat a lot, but she will
will tell you
help you
how
get
it
where you
is.
need to go.
Yes, yes, absolutely. Um, yeah, using someone like her will definitely help get the best bang for your buck because she's going to market you with all these companies that are in the market right now and um yeah, get you the best price.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, I used several different people. So I had a general idea of where I was and what I could work on to get to where I wanted to be. That was really helpful. I know best friends, I mean, we do that as well. We give you kind of like a top level free evaluation, say, hey, these are the areas that if you want a better number for where you're at, that you can work on. Let's get, and I love helping people with this. Let's get this in line. Let's, explore this option. Um, just so that you're not leaving money on the table when you're ready to finally exit. Uh, Online
What
store.
exactly is your question, Paula? What do you want to hear more about? Trying to sell an online store?
I think you are muted.
Exit strategies for an online store.
Yeah, you can reach out to me at Bulman Consultants and I can help you with
Hey,
some of
yeah, I'm sorry.
there you
Um,
are.
yeah, we use your products, but I run an online store for dog breeders. We're
Okay.
getting up there in age, so we're starting to look at options for exiting. So I was really interested when this came into my inbox.
Yeah.
But are you talking about pet care? I mean, you have an online store, right?
Well, no, I had a couple of pet resorts. I was in the process of building my third when I ended up going through a acquisition, but I do help pet business owners kind of get ready to sell, and making sure you have strong books to be able to get the best price for what you're trying to sell.
So even if it's not a pet care business?
Yes, feel free. It's bowmanconsultants.com. You can reach out to me and I can help you get your package together.
Okay, can you put that into the chat, please?
Yes, I will add it right
Thank
now.
you. Because I think of you as Kuranda. This came
Oh,
across as Kuranda,
That's what
right?
she
I
is. She does
I
the best.
am.
Yes.
I'm just having some guest speakers talk
Ah,
to pet care professionals about relevant content for them. So I'm kind of
okay.
just a bridge for information here.
Appreciate it very much.
Yeah,
So if you'll put that in the chat, that would be great.
I will. It's
Okay, thank you.
Bulman Consultants. What's the website?
Yeah, it should be bowmanconsultants.com. Yeah. Consultants with an S. What is a realistic problem? Oh, that is the elusive question that everybody wants to know, but it's heavily dependent on what your business looks like and where you're at with all those numbers. Whether you are in the right labor percentages and all of that plays a part in what number you end up getting. Um, definitely, that's kind of the benefit too of speaking to multiple of these groups. You can kind of see where they're what they give you and what their emphasis is or what they're really looking for because each of us kind of have a different model that we're looking to purchase. So, um, yeah, reach out to all the firms, reach out to best friends. We'd love to talk to you. You'll meet with me, and Peyton Anderson, who does our acquisitions. And we can help kind of give you what we're looking for and what that multiple would look like from best friends perspective. But it does vary. Like I had varying multiples in different people that I spoke to because they wanted more, X, Y, or Z in the business that I maybe didn't have. I didn't have training, so I wasn't as valuable to this person or, vice versa. So, um, there isn't a direct answer for that question, basically. Okay, yes, we did have transportation services. That was not a profit center. However, it fed into other areas. So while the van itself did not make money, the fact that it was bringing the clients to us that wouldn't otherwise attend our pet resort, it did drive up other profit centers. And yeah, not profitable, but I feel valuable because yes, it did bring in clients that wouldn't otherwise be able to attend our services.
especially if you've added a lot of other packages and upsells
Yeah.
to those people who are coming to board that would have otherwise not been able to get their dog there with you.
Right. It covered its own costs. It covered our driver and all the things associated with that, but it did not, it just broke even. And that's all that we cared about because we wanted to get those clients in the door to then use our other services. So, yeah, I think that was, I don't know, everything so far. Again, if you want more detailed information, you can reach out to me and I can help take a look at things and help you get structured to be ready to sell or plan for selling. Again, try to give yourself a 3-year runway to exit so that you can get the most. Um, okay, I will reach out to you.
And we mentioned Taya earlier. That's her website also.
Yes, Taya is great.
Mhm.
Once you're ready to execute, she will get you in front of everybody.
Yeah, yeah, she's good. Good.
Yes.
All right. If there's no other questions, then I think we'll wrap it up. I think this was really This is wonderful. It was I think exactly what a lot of people were hoping for, which was basically just where do I start? What do I need to start thinking about? Um, and everyone has your contact info, which I will also share with the recording once I get that posted online. It will be on YouTube and on KurandaPro webinar series landing page. Thank you so much, Jen. This was wonderful.
Yes, of course. All right. I'll talk to you guys soon.
All right. Thanks everyone for coming.